What is up, survivors? We're back with another mod review. For today's mod review, we're going to be going over the realistic ballistics mod. This is pretty sweet, adds a bunch of guns. Let's get into it. So what you're going to need to be able to craft is this weapons fabricator. You'll have to be able to craft these awesome display cabinets to put all these guns that we're going to go over on top of if you want to, but primarily this is what you're going to want, is the weapons fabricator. The weapons fabricator is unlocked at level 35. It does require power to get to, quite a bit of ingredients as you can see to obviously make, but it's pretty cool. Let's get out of this, get right inside of this sucker. So I have a bunch of scattered stuff kind of all over the place in here, but essentially you have the armory weapons that you'll be able to make here, those display cases to be able to make here and decorate everything, and then also all of the weapons, armor, attachments, everything that we're going to talk about here. The ammunition is going to be essential for the depending on the gun that you're talking about, and we're going to go over all of them. The attachments also are fairly universal. Some things will not work on others, but we'll kind of go over that as well. You have the explosive grenades, a bunch of different firearms, and also some throwing knives. So let's go over kind of everything from front to back, start to finish. We'll go over the pistols first. So first up, we have this we essentially have a Glock is what it is. It's a Glock, and as we can see, I have a suppressor attachment on it. It fires a little bit faster, but the damage isn't that great. But let's go see if we can find us a target. All right, some Dillos out here. As we can see, we're getting like 40, so that's a 140 when you hit him in the head, 46 on the nose, and then quite a lot more when you hit him in the headshot. If you notice, you'll see a little bit of fire trailing off with these rounds. It's a bit more realistic, I guess, as the muzzle flash is essentially what we were trying to accomplish, it looks like. Let's go over this way, and what you'll notice is this fires quite a lot faster. The recoil is a little bit lower than the fabricated pistol. The fire rate is a little bit higher. I'm stuck. Ugh. Sorry, the recoil is a little bit easier. The damage I don't think is on par with the fabricated pistol, but that's kind of the idea, is something a little more faster firing, and then it does work like a Glock. You can hold the trigger and get full auto with this. Most of these guns you can, but honestly they go all over the place when you do that, with the exception of a few more that we'll talk about here. But just by tapping the mouse button, I get more consistent fire rate, and all the bullets will do a small bleed effect, and you'll see that. And the idea is that for that to be a bullet wound, which makes sense to me. The Glock that I have here, again, does have the suppressor on it. You can take those on and off so we can get more of a sound on it. Let's do that, and sounds pretty good. Next one we have is the Falcon. I guess is kind of like a Desert Eagle sort of look, I think is what this was going for. I have a reflex sight on this one as well, just to kind of show off some of the attachments as we go back and forth. And as we can see, the damage is considerably stronger on this guy. Slower firing, harder kick, a lot more damage. This probably looks horrible, me just running around doing this to everything, but it does work pretty well. The reflex sight works really well. I actually really like that reflex sight. That actually, I was messing around with this for a little while and I really enjoy it. I like that I have crosshair enabled, but you could totally not use the crosshairs and be just fine with this guy. Moving over, we have a different shotgun. Essentially, it's a different pump action shotgun. I don't think I have any attachments on this one. You can put a flashlight and red dot sight and all that, reflex sight and stuff like that on here too. But honestly, it sounds better, and I think the spread's a little bit tighter, honestly. But let's go test this out. And as we can see, damage is quite higher than a normal pump action. Pretty ridiculous. Now I'm also running official settings, so these are air level dynos with no buffs to them, so kind of self-explanatory that, but kind of running through these guys a little bit. But I really dig the shotgun. The shotgun's probably one of my favorite ones out of this mod. Switching over, we get a submachine gun, basically an Uzi. Now this is a cool attachment. It's actually like a little kit attachment. So what this is one attachment, but I get the reflex sight. I get a flashlight out of it too. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of light out here. I'm gonna get up to a rock maybe. There we go. Got a flashlight and the suppressor attachment on here. And these guns look really good. So let's go test this one out. This is probably number 2 for me as far as favorite ones go. I think the shotgun's number 3. This one's number 2. Check this out. the ridiculous rate of fire coming out of this. Now, obviously, like I said, this is a lot quieter because this has the suppressor on it. But as you'll notice, you still get the flash. You still see the muzzle flash. You still see the bleed effect from the bullets. Those are pretty much universal with just about every one of these guns. But man, does it fire quick. And it looks like we're doing like 56 to this Bronto each hit. Each hit, yeah, 56. Now, obviously, this thing goes all over the place as soon as you start holding the trigger, which I kind of like, obviously, because this thing does such an insane amount of damage. You definitely want to burst fire this thing if you're using it, though. I would not recommend holding that in unless you're point blank to a Bronto like that. All right, next up, we got an M4. Pretty straight, simple M4. Now, on this one, I have a night vision scope, which, let's change it to nighttime to mess around with this first. All right, good, and nighttime, and let's test this out. As we can see, this is basically like looking through night vision goggles, but it's an M4, so fully automatic. And as you can see, it looks like it was like 156 damage it was doing on this. Let me find something not mate boosted, maybe. I feel horrible just running around here massacring everything, but got a science. Oh, there's a gig over there. Oh, that reaches out and touches him too. Looks like 126. Yeah, 126. So that is the M4 again. This one, I just put the night vision scope on just so I could talk about the night vision scope. But let's go over while it's nighttime, actually. We can use this other one too. There's an AK-102, which is pretty straightforward AK frame. This has a thermal scope on it. I'm gonna fly over here somewhere so I can find something. Maybe this Giga. But now you have thermal vision that you would have from the Snow Owl. This one is a little weird when you have the scope on because when you aim it, you hear like the Snow Owl thing kick in. You see it like kick in and out, and I'm not sure, maybe that was you're applying the effect to the sight, I guess, maybe, but yeah, the AK works pretty well too. Same sort of damage. I'm noticing that M4 and the AK aren't too terribly far off. Obviously, the AK is kicking a little bit more. But that's about the only thing that I've noticed. The damage is about the same. I'm not sure if that was done on purpose, but I think the magazines are the same. Yeah. All right, moving on. I believe this is supposed to be a 50 cal sniper, which is odd because this thing doesn't do as much damage as the long neck does. Think of this like a marksman rifle, I guess, maybe is probably a better way to put it, even though it's kind of labeled as a 50. So let's turn this back to daytime and check this one out. All right, daytime. Let's pull up maybe, I don't know, maybe this guy down here. 154. What we're doing, what you're getting is basically a better fabricated sniper rifle. Your long neck rifle is still going to be your go-to for really mass damage put out with one shot, but this is going to do a bit better than your fabricated sniper rifle. Plus, as we can see, the durability of this thing doesn't plummet like it does with a typical fab sniper rifle, so be able to use this sucker for a lot longer. This has a telescopic scope I have sitting on this thing, but you can take that off and just run it with iron sights if you want to. You have a lot of options with a lot of these guns, which is what I really like about this mod. Moving over into more of some of the really fun stuff, we got a grenade launcher. Now, this grenade launcher can take 3 different types of grenades. You have a regular fragmental, like just boom boom grenade, as we can see is pretty darn effective. What are the odds of me hitting that guy? Slim. Right, so the regular ballistic grenade, at 800 damage on impact and then like a 150 splash. Now, we can actually have a couple different types of grenades to this. Though, the poison gas grenade will just knock people unconscious, but it doesn't work on dinos. So think of this as like the gas grenade that people use in PvP, essentially. But the fire grenade, however, most certainly works on everything that's out here. And burns a target pretty badly. These incinerator grenades are pretty crazy. Now, again, it might feel like I'm just walking, or like I could just walk around like normal. Obviously, I had end commands on doing this to showcase some of this stuff, and it may seem like I could just walk through a whole map with some of these guns, but you also got to understand this is with bare official settings, right? So the level cap isn't ramped up. Now, I would assume that this would be a lot, this is gonna be a lot more difficult when you start dealing with higher level dinos, using more bullets, and then you'd have to craft the bullets too. And the bullets aren't necessarily cheap, but we'll go over that. It looks like just those 3 grenades are with this guy. Would have loved to see a smoke grenade option. Maybe I'm misreading that. Maybe you can use it, but I would have really liked to see a smoke grenade option with this one. However, it is still pretty fun and obviously very effective. Moving over, we have the 4-barrel rocket launcher, which is pretty intense. Pretty intense. And it's exactly that. It takes a separate type of rocket, but essentially you got 4 shots before you have to reload it, and it is pretty effective. I also like the fact that it blows up like the rocks and stuff nearby. Oh, no you don't. Yeah, pretty good amount of damage here. Let me fly up and kind of just show you. Yep, 1,000 damage on the hit, and it looks like, well, that might have been, no, that's 1,000 damage, and then 250 splash damage is what we're looking at here. I think so. Let me test this one more time. Yep, 1,000 damage, 250 on the splash. This thing is no joke. 4-shot rocket launcher. Moving over, I did want to go over one other one, and that was the hand grenades. You can make these regular hand grenades. They seem to have a tighter spread than the normal frag grenades do, and the damage seems to be a little bit higher. Let me go. I feel really horrible picking on horses. I want to just blow something up that's usually mean. All right, here's a Sarco and a Stego. This is very loud. Warning, 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 warning. Very loud, but 350 damage right off the, but it looks like the direct impact, and then you have the after effect too. But like I said, I think that the spread is a bit tighter on these guys, and you still can cook them like you normally would, so you can do that as well. Or you can go fishing with them, whatever suits your fancy. But as you can see, those shrapnel fires out in random directions. You might be in range of that, you might not, but it does spread out pretty well. Lastly are these throwing knives, and I gotta tell you, this might be one of my favorite ones actually. With the exception of, I think maybe the M4, the Uzi, the shotgun, but this is a really useful tool, and I really like a very simple thing that these guys do. So you craft them on your person, and they have like a random durability, sort of kind of like the spears do when you first start off. But obviously they're throwing knives, so you can throw them, right? But you can also just harvest fiber with them. You can harvest fiber with them. It just makes sense, right? Like, it just makes sense to be able to do that. And I don't think it does anything else. It just harvests fiber for you on stuff that you could normally harvest, which maybe these reeds aren't. But at any rate, you can harvest fiber with them. But again, they will randomly break just like the spears will. But then you can also hold in your right click and throw them. Let's get a little bit closer here so we can check this one out. And whoop, 81 damage with a bleed effect. Everything in here does a small bleed effect, and I don't really think it's doing that much. Again, it may seem weird right now, but it may seem overkill right now, but that's only on official settings. I think if you were dealing with max level like 150 dinos, I don't think you'd have. I think these would be effective and useful, but not game breaking. And 162 on a headshot. Man, these things are awesome. I really like this mod. I really like these weapons. The weapons look great. So this is that Glock that we talked about. This is the Falcon. We got the pump action, which looks a bit more like the scale looks better to me. We have the Uzi with all the attachments on it. We have the M4, the AK, the looks like the Barrett, I think is what it's supposed to be, a 50 cal, the grenade launcher, and that's the hand grenades in my hand. Yep, hand grenades, throwing knives. I mean, you have them all, so they look fantastic, and you have the option to pretty much display all of them on one wall. I just kind of separated them just so you could kind of see. And you know, there's a mod out there. It's a Harvs Corner Mod that you can get really cool canvas stuff like this, and a crafting station, and a giant banner, and this really sweet helmet. Link in the description. Anyway, so yeah, the idea is to be able to, you can store all the guns on here too. The only thing that I thought was kind of weird here is you can store, every gun has a place here, with the exception of this, the M202. You can't drag and drop this one. You can move all the other ones over here, and they all have a space on the wall. You can line them all up right there. But for whatever reason, you can't put the, you can't put, oh, I can even put the grenades on there. Okay. Can I put the throwing knives on there? I actually didn't check this. I'm curious now. Oh, okay. That might be because I haven't equipped it. Hold on. Let's test that out just to make sure. No, okay, you can't put the throwing knives on there either. But it would have been kind of cool to be able to drop the rocket launcher in there. That'd have been kind of neat. Maybe like right here on the side, like straight up and down. But at any rate, this looks really cool. I really like the idea of having this weapon cabinet done, because not only is it a weapon cabinet, but you could also probably store a lot of other stuff in here too. I'd be curious to see if let's just, I don't know, spawn like something simple like a hatchet in. No. So it won't actually hold that. Now, it will hold all of the ammo specifically for this mod as well. So you can plug in all of your ammo here. And let's just throw it in here because this does actually matter. All of your attachments can go in here. And you actually get a visual representation of a lot of that stuff, which I think is really cool. I really like that idea. Aesthetically, it's a little touches to this one that make me really happy. I'm really happy to see a lot of the variety too with a lot of the different guns. I get a little bit bored, especially if you're a person that really enjoys more of the shooter-esque sort of games, or even some of the other survival games. You'll find the firearms and like your handheld defenses in this game are kind of limited a lot of times, and it's really odd considering the vast diversity and all the other mechanics. But at any rate, I highly suggest this one. Definitely check it out. That is it, guys. That's a realistic ballistics mod. I would highly suggest checking this one out. I think we did a couple of firearm mods reviews previously. I gotta tell you, I like this one the best so far, hands down. Like this one the best. We'll have a link in the description to the workshop for this mod. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you on the next one.